Hi, my name is Coldbear, and this time I've made you a list of classic RPG games similar to Baldur's Gate that are on Steam Winter Sale right now. Let's start with Tower of Time. This is a story-rich dungeon crawler with innovative real-time combat that lets you pause or slow time. And here you have to turn on your brain if you want to succeed. And I mean it, every battle is specially designed to be a tactical puzzle, so it might be a bit challenging, or impossible, depends on your IQ I guess. Also, because of that, the game is really suitable for fans of this genre, and not so friendly for new players. Tower of Time will burn about 50 hours of your boring lifetime, as you enjoy handcrafted levels and interesting story. Here you will also find thousands of pieces of loot and equipment. I was trying to find some bad reviews of the game, so I could share not only good things, but also what's wrong, but most of those were ridiculous. Look at this one. Dude is ranting that the game gave him a weaker sword than some random streamer he watched got, so he called the game garbage and posted a negative review. Dude, man up, because this is the pussiest review I have ever seen.
Pussy, 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 pussy.
You have serious problems, way more serious than some weak sword you got. I am not a doctor, but if I was your penis doctor, for example, I could clearly say that your pee-pee lacks some balls. And I mean your mental pee-pee, not the real one, because you can be a girl or any other gender trending these days. Anyway, judging from other reviews, the game is really entertaining and cuts all the crap other games include to artificially lengthen the game. So this might be the unexpected game of your choice. Divinity: Original Sin 2. One of the best RPG games ever created. Overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam can confirm that with ease, and people in the comment section are openly saying that this may be the best game they have ever played in general. Well, to be fair, you can find comments like that under almost any better game, so take it with a grain of salt. If you have a friend, you can play co-op mode, but since you don't have one, your mother-in-law can do just fine. Give her gifts such as gold, daggers, shields, and potions of love, so she would always stand by your side when you have an argument with your wife. Make your life better through gaming. Divinity has dark and gloomy world and sexual content when you can have accidental sex with a skeleton, or not so accidental if you have some crazy fetishes. I don't judge. The best thing is that the world is massive. When you, after 60 hours of playtime, realize that Act 1 you just finished is only a tutorial, you're gonna be amazed. Game will take about 200 hours from start to finish, so it's really worth your money. Tyranny. This is a classic-styled RPG with a new original story shaped and molded by your actions. The very layout of the world will be altered by your decisions as you choose sides, make allies and enemies, and fight for your own vision of law and order in an immersive and reactive story. Game looks beautiful, but that's understandable because it's quite new, and reviews on Steam are very positive. You have to scroll hard to find any bad ones, as people say this game plays just as Baldur's Gate, although keep in mind that Tyranny is more dialogue and not combat oriented. Of course, you will kick some ass from time to time, but the main thing will be reading and talking. Be sure that you like that kind of stuff. And one more thing, the player here is not a random villager who rises to power, but a powerful officer with considerable resources and authority. Use that power to enforce the new status quo or try to make changes from the inside. Literally, this is more realistic approach, way different than typical
Hey, simple peasant, whose family was killed by Almighty Dark Lord and his unbeatable legion of demons. You have to learn how to fight, slay them all, and cut the balls of Dark Lord himself to resurrect your loved ones.
Sadly, this scenario is so common in many games, and Tyranny tries to rise above that. Pillars of Eternity. In a classic RPG world, Pillars of Eternity is like an alcohol in vodka. It's the main ingredient of this genre, so if you never tried to play this one, there is no excuse for you to continue this ignorance. Game came to life after an unbelievably successful Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign, which raised more than $4 million. In example, if you save $1,000 per month, you have to do that for more than 300 years to get $4 million. That is a huge amount of time. Not as huge as your mama though. Game's story takes place in Eora, where a strange and scary phenomenon known as the Hollowborn, meaning someone who's born without a soul, plagues the land. As I always say, scariest thing is that not only ginger people don't have a soul, you know, like in real life, but people with any hair color, and even bald people can get this disease. Yeah, that is no joke. Also, if you like this game, keep in mind that Pillars of Eternity 2 is also discounted right now. By choosing to play the first part, you are almost instantly doomed to play the second as well, because the game is great and also is a proud owner of very positive reviews on Steam. Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition. This classic game has been updated with a 4K interface and a remastered soundtrack, so it was reborn again with a new beautiful face, a thing most of us will never have. But don't let the pretty paint job fool you, this is still a story-rich tactical RPG with a massive world that will rock your socks off, although not as massive as your mama. Jeez, those will never get old. World of Planescape Torment is filled with interesting creatures, devils, and other strange beings. Game features 5,000 pages of dialogues, so there is way less combat and a lot more exploring and reading. Listen to that again, 5,000 pages of dialogues. People who created it had a serious writing problem, just like I do. You know how many pages of text this video is? It's 5. Still a lot. When was the last time you wrote 5 pages of anything, huh? Anyway, I even know several guys who prefer Planescape Torment over Baldur's Gate, and I can see why. But I also have a friend who likes to eat potato salad with pineapple in it. Yeah, I obviously need new friends. Solasta, Crown of the Magister. Here you take control of 4 heroes, each with unique skills that complement one another. Every hero expresses themselves in the adventure, making each action and dialogue choice a dynamic part of the story. You would create your heroes just as you would in a pen and paper game, choosing your race, class, and personality. And like in a pen and paper game, here dice is the god. Roll 1 for critical failure, roll 20 for critical hit. And we all know that you will roll 1 way more often than 20. It's called balance instead of bad luck. Have you played early access of Baldur's Gate 3? There you miss almost 2 shots out of 3 and still somehow win the battle. Solasta is in early access right now, so it should be full of bugs and glitches, but surprisingly reviews are very positive and it's hard to find a bad comment. Torment, Tides of Numenera. Game is a modern isometric RPG released in 2016, and it takes a lot of elements from Planescape Torment. I have to say that the game is inspired by the classic game, but Tides of Numenera doesn't share the lore of Planescape Torment. Instead, it shares the composer Mark Morgan, a dude who created music not only for Planescape Torment, but also for Fallout 1 and 2. So, here you will hear about 50 different music tracks made by him. In Tides of Numenera, most encounters can be settled with a bit on conversation instead of fighting, so prepare for walls of text again. Game consists of 90% reading and 10% of everything else. And that is great, because it is really fun to create and live your own book of adventures. That is, if you like books.
I like boobs, not books.
Yes, this hobby is more superior, I must sincerely give you that. Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition. Made with the same Infinity engine as a classic Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale is a more battle-oriented game. Here you will find less side quests and less story, but you will enjoy an amazing atmosphere because the game is really detailed. Every animation and sound effect is really nailing it. The game is well known for its beautiful landscapes and eye-catching colors. Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition has very positive reviews on Steam, and even bad ones are somehow not legit. In example, there is one man complaining about multiplayer not working properly. Do any of you play Icewind Dale for multiplayer? Okay, maybe you do. I'm not judging you or whatever. You may also like potato salad with pineapples, strawberries with mayonnaise, vodka with Coca-Cola, well-done steak, or even zirga galva, which is a traditional Latvian dish made of horse head. Don't ask me why I know this. You may be weird, but I still love you. Please subscribe. Avedon 3: The Warborn. This is not the prettiest member of this RPG family, just like you are not the prettiest member of yours. Avedon 3 is a huge old-school indie fantasy role-playing adventure where you are a Hand of Avedon, warrior and spy, judge and executioner, pizza baker and stay-at-home mom. Okay, maybe not the last two, but although your titles are limited, you have unlimited power to fight the enemies of your homeland. Your word is law. However, your lands have been invaded. Barbarians and monsters are
raping and pillaging
through your home, and you are the only one who has a way to stop them. Here you can choose from 5 different character classes, each with dozens of unique spells and abilities, explore dungeons, hunt for hundreds of magical artifacts, and pass judgment on your enemies or just people you don't like, just like you don't like that asshole coworker of yours and wish he was dead.
That's cute.
Avedon also features many different endings. Will you save your people or betray them? Follow orders or claw for more power? All this is for you to decide. Pathfinder Kingmaker. Hundreds of kingdoms have risen and fallen in these lands, and now it's time for you to make your mark. And not by painting a peepee with balls on some walls, but by building your own kingdom. Yes, the task is not for some random weakling, though I should mention that players are complaining about loading screens. There are a lot of them, so if you are not a patient one, you should consider reading the comments before buying. Also, the second part of the game, called Pathfinder Wrath of the Rishos, will be released in June of 2021. This time 35,000 backers pledged more than $2 million, so the game will be even bigger and better than its predecessor. Well, we all hope that it will. It may also suck as well. You can't be hyped on any games anymore, thanks to Blizzard and CDPR. That's it. This is the end of this video where you subscribe to my awesome channel, or I will go and paint a small peepee on your doors with even smaller balls. You don't want your neighbors to know. Oh no. So subscribe now and paint a giant peepee by yourself. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.